and fucking fought!
Wordle has taken the whole internet by storm, and people on Twitter have been posting non-stop about their achievements in this simple, yet immensely challenging word game. And it makes sense, because you only get a total of 6 chances to correctly guess a single word from a list of over 2,000 unique words. As insane as it sounds, people have actually come up with some crazy solutions to beat these incredibly low odds. So, if that's something you've been struggling with, we have gathered some of the best strategies that will help you win Wordle every single time. But keep in mind that there are a lot of factors at play here. So depending on how you use a specific strategy can completely change the outcome of your puzzle. With that being said, let's start with strategy number 1. Strategy number 1. Vowels, consonants, and why. Now, the first strategy that I'm going to be talking about works most of the time. Like, more than 90% of the time, if you manage to get it right. So, the way it works is that you start with a word that ends with the letter Y, which most people miss out on. And since we are going for a word that ends with Y, it might as well be a vowel-heavy word. For instance, you can start with the word query for your first guess, which ends with Y and also has a couple of vowels in it as well. This way, you will learn whether or not the vowel word has a Y in it, and if it's located at the end of it, which is very important. Now, for your second guess, you should try and use a word that includes as many vowels as possible. Of course, since we already have a couple of vowels, we need to use a word that has different vowels in it. And for this one, we can use words like audio. By this step, you will know just how many vowels the final word contains and whether or not it has a Y in it. For your third guess, you should go for a word that uses the most common consonants, S, L, H, R, T, N. But make sure not to include letters that have already been grayed out and only use letters that are green or yellow. Take a couple more guessing using words with letters that still have not been confirmed yet. And by the time you reach your second last guess, you should have a pretty good idea what the final word might be. This is one of the easiest ways to go about winning almost every single Wordle game. But it might not be the best compared to our next strategy. Strategy number 2. Use the best words. The second strategy comes from some genius minds who have taken a deep dive into Wordle source code, and according to them, there are some words starting with which you are most likely to win every single Wordle game without using all your guesses. And those words are rail, wrote, aerial, and soar. You can start with one of them as your first guess, and from there on, you can experiment with words that have the most unused vowels in them, followed by words with the most commonly used consonants like I told you in our first strategy. Just keep in mind that it is as important to get as many wrong letters grayed out as it is to guess the right ones. Every wrong letter will help pave the path to the right word. Statistically speaking, wrote is the word that you should be using as your first guess. Try it out and comment down if this strategy works out for you. You like our content, right? Smash that like button and help this video explode! Strategy number 3. Remember the do's and don'ts. There are so many factors at play here that there's no 100% certainty of you winning every time with any strategy out there. But these strategies sure bring you close enough to bag that win. However, to bring you even closer to victory, there are some rules that you must keep in mind when making a guess. Wordle uses common words. As much as some people like to think that the daily word would be some fancy word, it's not. Wordle uses words that are most common and anyone from a 60-year-old grandpa to a school kid could guess. Don't worry about plurals. The other thing that you need to keep in mind while going for your next guess is that Wordle does not use words that are plurals, which is great since it makes our lives a whole lot easier. Look out for double letters. Double letters are evil. Most people forget about the fact that there could also be double letters in the final word, which leads them to focus on the wrong word. So always look out for words with duplicate letters. Second chance? Well, Wordle only gives you one run with a total of 6 guesses to find the final word. But there's a sneaky little hack that you can try to get as many chances as you want. Just remember, we don't encourage you to do that, but in case you really need a second chance, you can simply boot up the game in incognito mode to get as many tries as you want before your final run on the main account. Check out this video. It's specially selected for you. you'll like it.